Hey everyone, so I wanted to do a video. I've got my notes here because I can't think of all this stuff off the top of my head, but I wanted to do a video about the climate crisis, and the Christian perspective. Now, I don't speak for all Christians, but I wanted to talk about what it's like for a Christian to think about all this, climate change and all of that. And I'm sure there will be like a Wikipedia, fact check or whatever. Anyways, one thing I want to talk about, especially when it comes to politics, is not all Christians are Republican, right? For example, I'm an independent. I voted for Obama the first time. I don't think I voted for him the second time. And then in 2016, I voted for Trump. And the second one, I didn't vote because I moved and I wasn't able to. But the American left has made it impossible for us to vote for Democrats now. It's ridiculous, right? And so now it's like if I'm going to vote, I have to vote Republican. But the thing is there's so many fake Christians, whether it's Democrat and Republican. I mean, Biden himself even claims to be Christian, right? He pretends to be Catholic. And somehow he does all these abortion bills and is still in good standing with the church. That's strange. But Democrats and Republicans, they play the church game for political points. But we need to separate us from the parties. We're not necessarily Republican or Democrat or anything like that. But when it comes to the climate, Jesus told us that there are going to be natural disasters. There are going to be more of these things in the world that happen, and it would get bad and more frequent. The closest to his coming was. Now, I remember when I was in 2013, there was an atheist, and he said that, it's nonsense. Things aren't getting worse if you actually look at statistics and all of that, right? And they said, there's no way he's coming back. But now him and the same crowd are going crazy over the climate crisis. So it's interesting that they've now changed their, stance. Now they just say it's because of human interaction. But Christians, we don't see something that's needing fixing because we don't believe we have long for this world. Now, the biggest problem we have is the left and the globalists using the climate for power and putting on restrictions, right? The fact that globalists are using everything from race, COVID, to climate, to say we need global governments. I mean, we've all heard the whole global citizen and it's 2030 and you own nothing and you're happy. I mean, are you kidding me? Just look at the whole global citizen thing. Anyways, we even see the Pope and Laudato Si, right? In care of our common home. That's the new thing that he's doing. And he's saying that we need to take care of God's creation. Really, it's for power. And I don't know how you all stand on the Pope, but I did a video before talking about how it's not good, especially, what he's doing. Now, I value Catholics because I believe a lot of them are Jesus-loving and they all care about God. But some of them just do it for, to be in a community. Some just care about the tradition. They don't really care about God. We see the same thing in Protestantism. A lot of people just care about the community and all of that stuff. And that's why I'm not necessarily a Protestant or Catholic. But the Pope seems to be doing a lot of this global stuff. He's in the whole global thing when it came to the climate. He seemed to be meeting with world leaders and trying to get them on board to this thing, and it seems like it's creating restrictions. That's what it's going to. But politicians also, when it comes to the grain thing, politicians also want to give contracts out to their buddies. They want to make a whole bunch of money, right? But above all, the climate crisis is the perfect excuse they need to monitor people. I mean, we've all heard of, these chips that go into your thing, and whether I believe that the mark of the beast is actually the chip itself or just something that helps maintain it, nobody wants a chip in their hand. It's just ridiculous. Now, to be clear, this is something that I wanna let people know. It's not that I or Christians don't see that the glaciers are melting, and some have even stopped. I've taken geology, and I know more about it than most leftists. But these people don't know the science, right? They just blindly follow the people that side with them on social issues, the Democrats. To Christians, it seems like the perfect excuse to roll out the mark of the beast, tracking everyone in the name of crisis and all of that. Now, I'm not going to say it's not happening. It's definitely happening. And I do believe, since the 1900s, the industrial age and all of that, the warming has gotten faster. But to Christians, this isn't a problem. And we aren't worried about it because we know what it means. We know that this means that Jesus is coming. With the more rapid this stuff happens, the closer he is. So here's the big problem. You will never convince a group like the left, who doesn't believe in God, to accept it that it's him coming back. Even the person from 2013 is like, yeah, well, I'll admit that it's getting worse, but I don't think it's him. I think it's humans doing what humans do and the greed and all of that. So, and of course there's greed. But it's not just humans doing this. The atheists spend lots of time trying to prove that God doesn't exist. We see this with Richard Dawkins and all of that. You know, they say, well, you can't prove that God does or doesn't exist, but you can say that God isn't needed to explain the universe. Now, that's a whole nother subject. But these people do not believe that it's God, that God even exists, or that this is what's causing it. They're tied to this world. Atheists and the left are tied to this world, and they don't want to give it up. So they want to keep it going. And how do you keep it going? Do this stuff, I guess. So what can we do as Christians? We can make sure that they don't overreach. Something we can make sure, if we go green, contracts are only given to non-profits and not profit-making people. I don't care if it's left or right. If you're going to do it, don't make money out of it, because obviously it's going to be done through the taxpayer dollars. And don't control us. We don't need controlling. I think all of this, a lot of people say, oh, it's doomsday. I'm happy. I'm content. I know that Jesus is coming back. And I think that, honestly, it's time to praise and worship God and to be happy of what's happening. But the other side is not happy. The other side doesn't believe us, and they don't care. So we need to figure a way to work with them and say, you know what? If you want to go crazy about all this stuff, okay, fine. But we're not going to be controlled. I don't care if you think that I'm committing climate fraud or whatever, or damaging the world. You're not going to put a tracker in me. That's not happening. There's a lot of different things that we can do, but some people have asked what I think about the climate, and this is my response. Anyways, talk to you all later, and I'm going to be uploading more videos. Another thing that I think is going to come is like with COVID. I think that they're going to start striking disinformation for the climate, right? They're going to start saying that if you start spreading misinformation about the climate, then you need to be taken down because you're dangerous and all of that. But anyways, we need to keep an eye on the Pope. We need to keep an eye on globalists and all of that stuff. Anyways, I'll talk to you all later, and God bless.